phony tie.
Yeah, I know.
That was troubling me all night. That was all of this. I didn't, you know, it was like they had to clamp it surgically into my larynx.
I know what they are.
It wasn't just hooked to my collar.
What you have to go through to get a laugh.
Oh, exactly.
Ridiculous. So that's a nice tie.
Ooh. Our first guest tonight is a talented actor and director who has been in show business since he was 18 months old. 18 months old, a year and a half.
Right.
He had his own TV show.
Had his own agent.
That's right. He was the star of a TV show when he was a year and a half old.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. It was, remember the name of the show?
It was the Andy Griffith Show.
No, before that.
It was Make Room for Ron Howard.
Say hello to baby.
Really?
I think it was it.
You're
That's what it was. And his brand new film, oddly enough, is entitled Parenthood, and it opens across the country, all over. Not across the country. It'll be, I mean, all over the country. It's not like you have to go to the other end of the country. It opens all over the country. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Ron Howard. Old.
18, yeah.
What was the name of the show? There was a film.
It was a film.
Yeah.
Frontier Woman.
Frontier Woman, and you played, obviously...
The crying baby.
Uh-huh. Was this a pivotal part in the script?
It was, no, it was, I think it was a kind of important moment. I remember seeing it in a drive-in.
You were the Frontier Woman's baby.
No.
No?
I was the crying baby.
Oh, that was all?
Just in that, I think they might have been hanging somebody, and they needed a kid to cry.
Yeah, nothing makes kids cry like a hanging. How you been? How are things?
Well, things are good.
You know, I always like to point out that you and I live in the kind of the same area.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I do that to, you know, inflate the property value.
But I haven't bumped into you
no, it was
lately.
Over a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep it that way. You met and worked with John Wayne when you were a kid, too, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I just turned 21. He called me old 21.
All right.
And he was a legendary figure. I never really thought of him as that great of an actor, and I was really impressed by how dedicated and focused he really was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he, by 21, of course, you had been an established identity on television.
Well, yeah, Happy Days. I'd been on the Andy Griffith Show, and Happy Days was really going strong at that point. And actually, the first time that I met him, the director, Don Siegel, I showed up on location. He said, well, let's go up to the Duke's room in the hotel, and you can meet him. I hadn't even met him. And he walked by, and there was a little newsstand, and Henry Winkler and I, as the Fonz and Richie, were on the cover of the TV Guide. Mm-hmm. And so he said, wait, Don Siegel said, well, I'll buy this, and I'll show this to the Duke when he meets you. And I kind of, well, maybe, okay, if you want to. And he bought it. And he took it up there, and I met him, and he said, hi, how are you? Big, giant, really big hand. Yeah. And Don Siegel said, have you seen Ron on the cover of TV Guide? And he took it, and he looked at it, and he looked at me, and he said, ah, big shot, huh?
Yeah.
And I kind of said, well, thank you, Don, for...
Did you get on all right with him after that?
No, actually, we did get along real well.
Yeah. You know, when you were a kid, and I'm sorry I keep dwelling on this whenever you're here, but there's many interesting aspects of this that I don't think people are aware of. It didn't occur to me that most of your life you've been making huge sums of money. Not most of... But no, I'm right here. Not just your adult life, but since you were very, very young, you've been making large money.
Well, you know, on the Andy Griffith Show, I get paid, compared to what people get paid now, of course, it's not that much, but I remember the first time that I really kind of came to grips with the fact that I was in a high-paying profession was when I was a huge baseball fan. Mm-hmm. And there was one year, I think it was 65 or 66, when both Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax held out spring training together. It was huge news, and I was a big Dodger fan. And then I saw what they signed for, and it was big news that they had broken through this barrier. And I went down, I took a little piece of paper and figured out what I made during the course of the year, and I made like $5,000 more than Sandy. It actually made me sad. I didn't feel like I possibly could deserve more than Sandy.
Yeah, that must have been a staggering realization. You were in 1965. You were what? How old?
I was 11.
11. Making more than Sandy
Andy.
Koufax.
I know. Well,
Man.
life is not fair. All these days.
Let's see. Let's do a commercial, and then we'll be right back here with Ryan. And also Dick Enberg. Really good show. These are all very talented people. And when did you want to direct? Now, that almost seems like a joke anymore. Actors say, well, I eventually hope to direct.
Right.
But you did it and have been very successful.
Well, my dad, I used to watch my dad direct plays and things like that, and he's an actor, and my pat answer when I was a kid was I want to be an actor, writer, producer, director, cameraman, and baseball player. Until I found out about Sandy and the salary thing.
Sure, no, forget all about that. No point in wasting your time there. And you, at one point, you had some interest in a pornographic film.
Well, not deep interest.
No, but that's what I've heard. But there was
No. When I was in college, I went to USC Film School, and I really wanted to make independent movies, and it was hard to get the money to make movies. And I was really starting to think more of a filmmaker than anything else. And Deep Throat was out there, and it made like $30 million, and it cost like $10,000 to make the movie.
Yeah.
And I thought, now, Opie gets laid.
No.
If I did that, I mean, I'd be... I didn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Of course you didn't do it.
It'd take me out of the mainstream.
So you weren't thinking specifically of making when you just liked the idea of being able to do something.
It was a stepping stone.
Yeah, but I mean, the topic would not have been X-rated, or would it have been?
It would have had to be. You got to deliver the goods.
But see, I misunderstood. I thought you only kind of had an interest in the marketability of an inexpensive film that then brings in like a gusher.
But nothing would if it wasn't, you know.
So you really, this actually crossed your mind
Well,
then?
it crossed my mind one drunken evening at college.
Well,
I don't know how
this
you
is just
found out
getting
about
better and better. Now, let's see, then Parenthood. Now, this is something very close to your heart, going from, oh, God, what a miserable transition this is.
Into my life as a parent,
Yeah.
and how that relates to movies.
But it's...
Well, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And it stars Steve Martin and Mary Steenburgen,
Right.
who was on your show the other
Yeah,
night.
she's very nice.
Great.
Lovely
And,
woman.
Great. Rick
Is she
Moranis
nice to
and
work
Tom
with?
Hulce. She's fantastic.
Yeah, and Rick
She's
Moranis
great.
is also very funny.
It was a good group.
Yeah.
It was a good group.
A lot of kids, a lot of screaming brats on the set.
Definitely, a lot of them. Because, well, I mean, that's what the movie is about. I have 4 kids. They scream quite a bit.
How old's your oldest?
My oldest is 8.
Yeah.
My youngest is 2. And then I have twins in there in the middle.
Wow,
Who are
that's
4.
great. Yeah.
It's a good group. It's a great group.
Plan to have more, or is this...
I'd say we're in a holding pattern at this point.
Now, let me ask you about is this true that the middle names of each of your kids have a added significance? Or is that...
No,
did I
that-
misunderstand that as well?
Well, you're really digging deep tonight.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, my kid, it has to do with where they were conceived, because we didn't want to get into middle names of the family and so forth. People would be insulted that how come you didn't use a middle name. So
their names become like the location? Is it geographic? Is it like a name of a...
okay,
Somebody named Milwaukee in there, or...
my first one is Bryce Dallas Howard.
That's very nice.
That's nice.
Very
It works
distinguished name, yeah.
My middle, the twins, are Jocelyn and Paige Carlisle Howard, named after a hotel here in New York.
Ah,
And
Airport Marriott. Now I think that's cute. Will that be a burden for them, do you think? Knowing that, I mean, if they wanted to,
well,
they
I guess
could...
if I keep talking about it on talk shows,
Yeah,
it could
I guess
be.
so.
But no, I don't think it will
That's nice.
be.
That's nice. Now, we have footage of the film? Okay, we're going to look at a bit of this film, Parenthood. Do you want to tell us what it's
Well,
going to be?
this is a moment, this is kind of Steve Martin as an average dad in an average evening coping with one of his kids.
Okay, here it is from the soon-to-be-released, all over the country, Parenthood, Steve Martin.
Hi, Daddy.
What's the matter, honey? You don't feel so good? You feel like you want to throw up?
Okay.
Gil, why are you just standing there?
Waiting for her head to spin around.
The name of the film is Parenthood, and this again is Ron Howard. Always good to see you, Ron. Thank you very much. We'll be back after the station identification.